Welcome to Raiders Gameday. Merry Christmas. Eric Allen, the Pro Bowler. JT, what a Christmas.
What a gift. What a Christmas day this was, 2023. Just amazing job by Coach Antonio Pierce and that whole coaching staff.
The Raiders had to have the win.
Yeah.
We'll be talking about it for the next hour. It was a must-win game on a holiday, and they came through, EA, and they came through in a big way.
Big.
I mean, this game had everything. It was fantastic. So as we get rolling here with three big things, there were three. I thought there were 10 big things.
All on defense, pretty much, except the running game was there.
We'll get to Jack Jones and his appearance. Well, he played unbelievable.
Unbelievable for the second week in a row. And, of course, you see there the D-line getting after it, JT.
Hungry.
Yes.
And we got to get to Antonio Pierce, the interim head coach, and what he was able to do. He talked about choking them out, closing them out, finishing it up. Unbelievable. The highlights of the game as we begin, and there's Max leading them out. You knew this was a big game for Max. This is his rivalry game.
This is his rivalry game, and this is Max Crosby's football team. We roll how Max rolls, and right away you can see that energy, the effort from the defensive line. Most of the day, just sending four, really creating havoc for the Kansas City Chiefs.
And they were fantastic. Jones was going to be a beast.
Oh, yes.
I'm a little concerned about him early in the game.
Yes.
He got going, but no score here on a 3rd and 9, and they take him down, and here's the beginning of the day for Malcolm Kuntz. What a day.
Yeah, Malcolm Kuntz really showed out, and on the other side of the football, I thought he just had an amazing opportunity to really help this football team control the clock and make sure we're playing physical football.
Aiden O'Connell was going to be pressured throughout the whole game. This was a great catch. Watch the back pedal. The tiptoes keeping it going for another 2 or 3 yards. Very big play here. And for Aiden, Aiden had to step away from Jones on that play. And that was very important because he was going to be a sitting duck with Jones playing that well. He had to make a couple plays.
Definitely under duress early in the football game. This was an amazing throw right here. JJ going to a second read.
Romo loved that throw.
Oh, he did.
On the broadcast, said it was one of the toughest and best throws out there. And look at the grinding 3rd and 2. Give it to Zamir Whitey, and he's moving the chains.
There you go, playing that physical brand of football. Love the trickeration here. Watch this play designed from the backside. We're going to get another shot here. Watch all the Chiefs players go the opposite direction. Look at this here. Look at all those Chiefs players over there. And then back in front, look at that gate we have, the Raiders for Jacoby Myers. Incredibly called play right there, JT.
Misdirection. They usually do it to the Raiders.
That's right.
Raiders do it to them. Daniel Carlson gets them on the board, 3-0 here. And that needed to happen because the Raiders went on a long drive. They needed some points here. You knew Mahomes was going to make big throws throughout the game here. The Chiefs convert on 3rd down, and they're starting to show a little bit of life here, EA.
Yeah, a sprint right option here. One of the great things that the Chiefs Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes getting it done here. A little quick screen. I thought for the first time in a long time that Kelsey ran with a little authority without looking like he was banged up.
Yeah, right outside the red zone there. And the Chiefs, when they're starting to knock on the door, and a little trickeration here, and Pacheco, we knew he was going to be someone that was going to score and have an impact.
Where did I see this play before? I saw this play before. We ran it.
Yep.
And then the Bears ran it earlier in the season, but another chance to see how Andy Reid is not afraid of being able to steal plays, but here, a little too cute.
Oh, what are they doing? They're backed up and they're getting cute. Why are you getting cute here? They had points on the board. I think this is the biggest moment of the game. It's a gift. It was a gift, and Bilal Nichols, who had the safety against the Patriots, has another signature play we talk about.
Yeah, defensively, the last couple weeks, this defense has really been playing inspired, great football, doing an absolutely outstanding job. And hey, my guy and your guy takes it to the house.
Jack Jones.
2nd week in a row. He's been playing fantastic football. Eyes on the quarterback. If you make a mistake, Jack is going to make you pay. And again, amazing player right now, just kind of leading this defensive backfield. And you see there getting the love from his guy, Max Crosby.
We'll get into this later. Talk about a corner who makes a play. And then because of the fumbled extra point, they decide to go for 2 here, and they get it. Another big, we're going to talk about the math in this game throughout the show. I didn't like the math. At one point, I was worried about would Kansas City get the ball back here. And then Kansas City, this is when they were desperate, Eric. 17-7, look at the clock. 2:39 to go in the game, and they wanted to get points. They wanted to do an Andy Reid special, get a couple of points going into halftime.
Yeah, just a heartbreaker here. And you know this young man, Patrick Mahomes, I'm not sure how you make plays out of nothing, but he's still at the top of his game. and just unbelievable trying to get his team in position to make some plays here.
They missed a chip shot. Are you kidding me?
That was big.
Are you kidding me? 5 seconds to go, that instead of 17-10, it's 17-7. And the Raiders, as we go to the second half, they got a lead. You know Kansas City's going to come out and try to make a statement here. On 3rd and 8, Mahomes didn't have a lot of room. But, Eric, you and I, we were watching the game. You had a tackle because he was going to run. He was going to try to pick up first downs on his own.
Yeah, he had to find ways to create plays for his football team. I'm just not sure if he has enough players on his team to be able to do that. But himself did an outstanding job of extending plays today. Look at this, with his legs, always sacrificing his body. I thought he wanted to, just play a magnificent football game.
They should have probably did it more. I mean, they should have had more design runs for him because they couldn't get the passing game going. And whenever he sprints right or sprints left, but the Raiders were hitting him here. Notice they took him to the ground. They were talking to him, trash talking. It wasn't going to be easy for Patrick Mahomes here. And then just a complete whiff and a miss.
Right.
And this has been the problem with this team this year and the receivers not being on the same page.
You're
4th and 5.
And this is just a killer here when you see situations where usually those players are making big-time plays. And for Patrick Mahomes, very, very frustrating. Here we get the little chip from Kelsey, which is illegal. Get the call here. And good coverage on the back end. Another chance for this Raiders defense to get off the football field.
We're winding down here in the 3rd quarter. Raiders still up by 10 and running the ball hard. Now, this is where I thought the right side of the offensive line was doing a really good job. And then I called it with you. I said, run it left, run it left, go right to left. And then look at this run. Hard running for Zeus. I just thought overall, look at him at the end of this run. Watch this.
Yeah.
Puts his head down, boom. One little hit there going out of bounds. And then Carlson, we know how good he is, Eric. He's going to put up points, and we would need these points because it was very difficult for Aiden to get the passing game going.
You got to remember, this is the Kansas City Chiefs, and they've been just a monster versus us. And Patrick Mahomes, again, getting yards with his feet. But every time, look at the pressure. Getting there, just not enough.
But no late hit. I love that. Pull up. Don't give him 15 yards.
Be smart.
Be smart on that play. And then the drop-off play on 2nd and 17. There's just a missed tackle here. One missed tackle by Nate Hobbs. Put in an explosive play. Right here, you got to get him to the ground. And that was the momentum was turning at Arrowhead.
It was turning. Had to find a way to kind of harass and find ways to get after this Chiefs offense. And that had been an issue for us early in the season. I thought we had fixed that tackling issue, but hats off there.
Mahomes taking another shot. Now, a lot of times in this rivalry, that's a touchdown.
Yeah.
A lot of times in this rivalry, that's a touchdown.
Look at that.
Look at how tight the coverage was on this play. And outstanding defense.
Yes, and Hobbs, that was a great bounce back because he had a penalty early that sustained that drive.
Now, running the ball was going to be evident here because they couldn't throw it. They couldn't throw it at this point, and running the ball and picking up that first down there on 3rd and 5. And Aiden was having a difficult time on some of these passes. This one that just gets away as we were watching it back in the green room saying Hunter pulls that in and hits its hands. It's a game changer. And then I'm looking at the math, EA. See 27?
Yep.
I'm going, they score and score again. This can't happen. And the Raider defense was really hustling on this play. Tremendous hustle overall.
Got to give great credit to the back end, JT, because as you see, Mahomes looking downfield, no one to throw the ball to. Again, that pressure with 4, the coverage aspect that we didn't get to see was really on point for the most of the day.
Wide open pass here by Mahomes.
Big mistake.
4 minutes ago, huge mistake here. Now, Kansas City only had 2 timeouts. If they had 3, it could have been a little bit different. They had 2 there, and they were taking their time. I know that we were talking.
Watch this.
Go ahead.
Both defenders go to the out route, leave that middle of the hash wide open. You can't have that. You know Coach Antonio Pierce is going to be on that in the meetings tomorrow.
Yeah, and then the gang tackle there at the end. This is a 3rd and goal for Patrick Mahomes, and Coons has him.
Look at that.
Has him right there.
That guy.
Well, I think what he was doing there, he was going for the ball instead of the sack.
Yeah.
Watch right here. He beats his man. He goes to strip sack the ball instead of just sack him, and Mahomes does what he does best.
That guy's amazing. He is amazing. We won this football game today, but that guy, what a big run right here by Zamir. What a big run by our guy, Zeus. Getting it done. Here's you see, man on man. Great job by our fullback getting the block on the outside. Great hole, great explosion. Man, big time run.
Hold on
by
to the ball
Raiders.
to protect the football.
Yes.
Protect the football. Don't let him punch him out from behind. And I thought Zeus did a great job getting it there. But not only that run, look at this one.
Yeah.
When you got to ice the game, you got to stay in bounds. Got to stay in bounds and then throw that stiff arm there all the way. Fantastic. Oh, and then the victory.
Second best
Look
formation in all of football.
Wow, congratulations, interim coach Antonio Pierce. And what was happening here as we take a look at the final stats of the game, and it's kind of an ugly game. I mean, this is an ugly Christmas victory, but an emotional, great victory. Struggling on third down, 3 of 12, but no turnovers. And you would say this is a former player. 2 turnovers for Kansas City, the difference in the game.
Big difference there, JT. And I'm not sure if any numbers are going to really tell the tale of this football game. I think when you're the Las Vegas Raiders and you go into this building and you go in and you say to yourself, who are we? And we're a physical football team. And like I said, the only way that shows up is those rushing stats. It shows up, 157 yards. It shows up in those rushing stats, but it doesn't really tell the true tale of the physical presence of this Raiders football team the last 3 or 4 weeks, particularly on the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah, back here in Vegas, we want to give Antonio Pierce all the congratulations for that win. When I talked to him during the week, he talked about closing them out, choking them out, putting the game away. This game on Christmas Day was about finishing. We all knew what the score was. We all knew that Kansas City had the ability to come back. And the Raider defense, as the offense was struggling in the air, they got the running game going, and the defense says, we got this. We'll close it out. We'll win the game.
Yeah, and as you're going through the game, it's the Chiefs. So again and again, you talk about defensively, you just need to continue to play well, be consistent, execute your plays. You see Patrick Mahomes, in the pocket, being able to get away from pressure and extending plays. But what happened was the consistency on the coverage aspect, I thought really prevented them from having those quick strike, explosive plays, and that really was the difference. They were not able to have those quick scores, and the front four just really did a great job of getting after those Kansas City Chiefs. Just love the aspect of the game plan, how they went into it. Everyone seemed like they were prepared. The execution, everything on point defensively, and then running the football, being a physical presence up front. Colton Miller back was really big for this running game.
Christmas win.
Yes.
At Kansas City, baby. Jack Jones is going to join us from Arrowhead. What a game he's been having. We'll get to him coming up next when we continue on Raiders Game Day.
Raiders Game Day is brought to you by America First Credit Union, the official credit union of the Las Vegas Raiders. Allegiant, the official airline of the Las Vegas Raiders. Low fares, non-stop flights. Book now only at Allegiant.com. Cox, proud partner of the Las Vegas Raiders. Coors Light, an official beer of Raider Nation. Made to chill. 2023 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. Celebrate responsibly.
Jack Jones joins us from Arrowhead, the Christmas victory. Jack, great game. Thanks for joining us. How do you feel?
Thank you. Merry Christmas, everybody. I feel good getting a good win.
This was a game that you guys had to close this game out. You knew there wasn't going to be a lot of points once this game got moving. Talk about the resiliency of the defense getting at Mahomes all day.
Man, shout out to the defense, man. Shout out to PG, to Coach AP, and all the coaching staff and all the players that played, man, because the defense was out there flying around and playing with the heads on fire, and that was our goal, to stop Mahomes, not let him get going, so we can come out victorious today.
Jack, you've been playing outstanding football. Patrick Graham has you guys dialed in right now. Talk to us a little about the preparation going into this Kansas City Chiefs game, what you guys were able to find out through practice and able to get it done on the football field.
We knew what type of week this was going to be, playing against the Chiefs, explosive offense, great quarterback, a lot of good players on that team. We knew what type of week this was going to be. So, we all have to lock in and buy into the system and, go out and execute our job and not try to make a play and just let the plays come to us.
Jack, you guys were great on misdirection plays. It's been haunting the Raiders at Kansas City for a long time. How'd you practice that, the misdirection plays, and getting to the ball and being disciplined the whole game?
Trusting one another, man. I just want to give a shout out to the coaches, man. I give it to Coach AP, Coach PG, Coach Simo, all the defensive staff, man. They really did their thing this week.
Jack, talk to us a little bit about emotions. Emotions are a huge part of this game of football we play, a part of your game. How are you able to be emotional and still be able to make those plays from the first quarter to the fourth quarter?
you never get too high or you never get too low. You know, you stay in the middle and you stay level-headed and you just go out there and execute. You know, it's never too much. We went out there and we practiced these plays, you know, 100 times what it felt like throughout the week. So you don't overthink it. You just go out there and play and execute.
Hey, Jack, Kelce threw his helmet. Mahomes was pointing at his teammates. You're a guy. You're an alpha. You get in their face. Did you feel the crowd wasn't into the game because you took the crowd out of the game? What was it like? Take us through that fourth quarter when they were chirping at each other. They weren't able to get big plays going, and you were shutting them down. What was that like?
Yeah, when they start breaking down, you know, from the inside out, you know, then we got him there, you know, and we knew that once we seen, you know, Mahomes getting heated, you know, Kelce throwing his helmet, we seen all that stuff, you know, we was like, we got him right where we want him. So just keep stepping on their neck, keep going hard, keep executing, keep trusting the man next to you.
Hey, Jack, I know about your story, you know, from SC to ASU to the Patriots and now with the Raiders, your relationship with Coach AP. Talk to us a little briefly about where you are right now as a football player.
Man, I could drop a tear, man. It's special, man. This is a special moment, man. Shout out AP. You know, without AP, you know, who I don't know what this will look like, man. You know, from the start of it to now, you know, we still going. We still got a whole future ahead of us, man. But, man, I can't even put in words what AP meant to me, man.
Jack, Merry Christmas. Safe travels. Thanks so much. Congrats.
Merry Christmas, Jack.
Thank you. Thank you. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas.
Wow, yeah, you got him emotional on that. And back-to-back games with a pick six. That's very rare around here. Let's talk about what he's doing and just his ability to see the football and make a play on it.
Jay, he's a young player now. I mean, we're not talking about a 6, 7-year vet. This is a young football player who really understands the game. He plays from a cerebral standpoint with great athleticism at this point. So he is exactly right. I mean, the future is very bright for this young guy. How he develops plays, how he jumps those plays, how he anticipates. All of those things prove that he is going to be a dynamite player for a long time. And this is exactly what this team needs. They need a cornerback who can make plays on the edge. You got a guy like Max who's going to control the football field up front, and he's going to get that ball out fast. And if you have a guy like this, Jack, who sees the quarterback, can kind of understand route recognitions, he's going to be the kind of guy. He's going to be on SportsCenter highlights a lot, JT.
Well, that's what's great about him. It's just incredible to see his ability to go do this. It's one of the greatest plays of the year.
Oh, my goodness.
Period. One of the greatest plays of the year, not just Raiders, in the entire league. And then look how quickly he got that ball and then took it to the house and let Mahomes know.
Right.
Mahomes, you're not going to get me. I'm going to get to the corner.
That's right.
But then we have the only other one, the only other player to have back-to-back games, and he's my partner. Oh, you didn't know this was coming. Look at you. He joined your class.
Yeah, just, you know what, just like Jack, you kind of see the ball, recognize it, tips and overthrows, get to the ball, get down the sideline, JT. You got to get down the sideline, show a little bit of wheels there, and get to the house. So I'm so excited and happy for Jack being able to play at this level, this caliber, after the things he's gone through in his career as a collegiate player and as a pro player. I'm just so happy for this young man to be able to make those plays. And welcome to the club. Welcome to the club.
I've known you a long time. I know you're sincere about that. You were by yourself in that club. Now you have someone who joined you on Christmas. You'll never forget it.
That's right. That's right.
Unbelievable. Just fantastic. When we come back, more on the big victory on Christmas in Kansas City. A lot more coverage to come on Raiders Game Day.
My name is Anthony Vega Wood. I'm 17 years old. I go to basic high school and I play quarterback. I like to make sure all my teammates are good, and even after the games, I make sure to pick up all the trash, make sure the field's cleaned up, whether it's my field or not. Also, I work for the city. I like to interact with people all around the city. I work at a senior center, so I enjoy talking to everybody around. I think it's important because everyone matters, and not everybody has someone, especially at the senior center. So when they come into the senior center, we like to make them feel at home, make them remember their name, and make sure that they have somewhere that they could go. It doesn't really make me feel any type of way. It's just, it comes natural, and it's just something that I know is right to do, so it's something that I make sure to carry on in my day-to-day basis. Thank you, Intermountain Health and the Raiders, for this amazing opportunity. Go Raiders.
Welcome back to Raiders Game Day. Malcolm Koonce has been a name we've been talking about all year here. Now it's time to go to Eric Allen for a breakdown of his great play.
Yeah, JT, I tell you what, man, it's only fitting that we have down here the sack record for the season, Max Crosby, and he's our Batman. We need to find a Robin. I think we found our guy, and his name is Malcolm Koonce. So Raider Nation, get ready to see this guy in action. Incredible, incredible day today. You love his bend at the top of the routes. He's always active. It's another great sack from him. Again, he doesn't have many moves, but the moves he has, amazing. You love the fact that he's always after the rock. He never gives up. We love this. This is all about what Max shows in practice. Once you're in the meeting room and you see Max doing this, you have to find a way to do that, to duplicate what Max gives you every play. Malcolm Koonce is continuing to do that. You like his get off. Watch the arms and the hands at the top of the route. Great job here. That is outstanding for a defensive end. And one more time, you see the effort if he doesn't get the play the first time. So what do you do with a pass rusher when he's doing a great job at that? You try and run at him to see if he can secure the edge. Yes, Malcolm Koonce is an amazing pass rusher. But now, an offensive coordinator is going to say, hey, let's toss the ball, let's run at him and see if he can protect the edge. Outstanding technique on that edge. Gets his hands inside, peeks outside so he has leverage, and then is able to make the play coming off a big tackle. Malcolm Koonce, again, is proving why he is an outstanding bookend for our Raider Nation. That's what he's going to continue to bring each and every week, JT.
Incredible. What's been going on with this defensive line is an unsung story. Everybody talks about Max, and you just mentioned Malcolm on the outside. The interior of this defensive line, a lot of younger drafted players aren't playing because they can't get on the field because of our veterans, EA, who are playing at a very high level. Look at this performance against Kansas City. 10 quarterback hits, 23 pressures, and I think it's the first time we can mention on Christmas that Mahomes was not right in this game.
Right.
Max is in his head, and at times, Mahomes is in everybody else's head. But the defensive line, it wasn't just Malcolm Koonce and Max Crosby. It was the interior. They're playing their best football. Patrick Graham has figured out now the rotation. I thought the rotation was going to be an issue this year because of a lot of young players needing to get reps. No, the guys that are on the field deserve to be there.
And I tell you, it is so exciting to see this young man kind of emerge as that kind of opposite of Max. And then find ways to get your interior pass rush ready to go. We saw a couple weeks ago Tyree Wilson kind of make his emergence inside, but this team, look at that. That's only 4 guys, JT. So the rest of the guys in coverage, you're able to cover down tight ends, deep balls. The safeties do an amazing job, but it all starts up here. The hustle, the effort, it all stems from Max. This is Max Crosby's football team. And if you're on defense, you better be playing with your hair on fire because you know Max is going to be giving you high fives, slap you on the helmet. This is a great feeling. It's a great vibe. And I am so excited to see Coach AP and Coach Graham continue to get this defense rolling. That should have been another interception right there. But look at the defensive front. Look at Max Crosby get after it again. That's why he's on top of the list as far as Defensive Player of the Year, because he continues to give it all on the football field. Now, I thought I saw a stat today that said something like, as far as plays and players, Max Crosby is on top of the list. He plays almost 97% of the plays on the defensive side of the ball. That's just amazing. We're in week 15, 16, or whatever, and he's still giving you that kind of effort on each and every play.
I was talking to you during the game. If we weren't playing the Chiefs today, how many sacks would the Raiders have got? If they went up against a stationary quarterback. Mahomes got out of a few of them. They talked about the magician. Jack said, got to stop him with all the tricks and all the plays there. I thought the defensive line was not only stout today, they were smart. Everyone on this defense had their eyes on Mahomes, but never lost track of the Kansas City player, something that's happened in this rivalry in the past. I love the discipline today, EA.
Yeah, so many times. I thought the second level, Spillane, Diablo, did a really good job in coverage when that front forward's getting after him, not really breaking coverage so he would be able to get those explosive plays. We just seen one busted coverage basically on the whole day, and it didn't result into an explosive play like it usually does when, you know, the player's running free for a touchdown. Didn't really give a lot of those up. So that front defensive line, outstanding job. I thought Spillane and Diablo, as far as passing concepts, did a really good job. And then it was locked down on the back end with the interception. And Meek played a really good game. The safeties kept everything in front of them. I mean, defensively, Patrick Graham has this defense locked in, loaded, and ready to go.
When we come back, we'll hear from Antonio Pierce. Can't wait to hear what he has to say. The defining win of his young career as the interim head coach will go to the podium next on Raiders Game Day.
This segment of Raiders Game Day has been brought to you by Twitch. Watch, discover, join in.
How about that? How about that? How about that? Everything we talked about, ill intent, violence, physicality, execution, the will to win. Look at that second quarter. What did we say we was going to do? In the second quarter, right away, 2 defensive touchdowns, 7 seconds. Third quarter, come right back out, do what we do. And then we say in the fourth quarter, finish them. Finish them. Offense, hell of a job. Zamir, hell of a job, man. Look, goddamn Jermaine go down. I look around, see a big 6'8" motherfucker run down the side, grab his helmet. Colton got his in there. He going to goddamn. Hey man, you know it ain't been done a lot around here doing what we just did. But we believed. Think about what I said. I will. We will. I believe. We believe. Goddamn, this is what the hell we do. Let's smoke our. Let's talk our. The Raiders goddamn way. Let's go.
You are just the third double-digit underdog this year in the NFL to win a game straight up. You've called for physicality, you got it. How proud are you of that team?
Yeah, we talked about it all week. Ill intent, violence, physicality, pain. Enough is enough. I think that was displayed just right there.
Sometimes you got to win a game by any means necessary. It seems like that was that type of game where it was on the defense, the offense did just enough, you were able to run the ball toward the end of the game. Was that one of those types of games?
That was actually one of our mantras, by any means necessary. We knew it was going to be a gritty game. It wasn't going to be a high-scoring. We didn't want it to be a high-scoring game. Hats off to our defense, Patrick Graham, and our defensive staff. Hats off to our players of executing, staying with it, being relentless. We talk about squeezing, finishing in the second quarter, finishing in the fourth quarter, and they did that.
You've seen it where confidence turns into belief and then execution with this defense week after week after week. It's doing what they're doing, what they did out there today. Where is that confidence level and that efficiency
Still
level?
growing. We got a couple more games left, so hopefully by the end of this bad boy, you'll say that's a pretty confident group and they're playing well.
When you were able to hand it to Zamir White at the end of the game, getting the job
That's part of football right there. When you can pound the rock and take 3 knees in the game. Best formation in football, victory formation.
When they know that it's coming and you know that what you're doing.
When I know, you know, that I know, and they know, and we know, and everybody knows on Christmas, and you still to do it, that's good football.
You talk about the pride you feel in Zamir. I mean, he stepped up and he performed on a big stage in a big game.
Well, let's just talk really about what's been going on the last couple of weeks. You got Mumford at left tackle. You got Dylan, Meredith, left guard. Back and forth with Dylan and Dre at center, rookie quarterback, second-year running back. Tight end off practice squad. Guys are stepping up. Next man up mentality. Team football. Team football, right? And really hats off to Zamir, because at the end we say, man, no fair dodging. No fair dodging. If they're in your way, run through them, and he did just that.
Jack Jones, second straight week with the pick 6.
Yeah.
Could you just talk about your young cornerback?
Man, that group, that secondary, the way they're playing, very confident. Again, I'm going to go back to film study, watching film. And then we talked about this earlier the week back in Vegas. See it, believe it, go get it. And he did just that. I think the one thing everybody's seeing with this Raider team is a group that's playing together, having fun with one another, loving one another, playing with a bigger purpose, a will to win, a fight to win, and not ever giving up.
Malcolm Kuntz, same way. His development, I mean, he just feasted today. Will you talk about his play, sir?
Yes, sir. I mean, we talked about it each and every week. You got 98 on the left. When somebody shows up on the right or up the middle, it's going to be a problem, and it's starting to become a problem. And Malcolm is really making a name for himself. That's now, 3 weeks in a row where he's really just like, wow. And it's good to see, and just the effort, fighting through a lot of stuff. But, these guys, man, what I asked them to do, man, by any means necessary, at all counts, just find a way to get it done, and we did that.
These guys call themselves the misfits, but would you talk about that defensive line? I mean, they just continue to
There's a lot of misfits in that room. A bunch of Raiders, misfits. That's the one we live by. We're fine with that.
You talked earlier this week about the Raider way of football that you remember as a kid growing up. Today, the swagger, the no apologies, is this as close as we've seen to that?
I think so. It was on full display on Christmas Day. Not a better day to do it.
You all set?
Thank you.
All right, thanks, AG.
Merry Christmas, by the way.
So happy for him and his ability to come out here and do something great. 53, that one big number here. Mahomes outside the pocket. It could get worse. It could be bad. It wasn't today. The Raiders showed up.
They did. When you start talking about respect, he is still, I think, the best player in the league, even though some of the results don't reflect that. But his ability to be able to extend plays, give his team opportunities outside the pocket is why he's the best player in the National Football League on the offensive side of the ball. The way he's able to contort his body and run and still have his eyes downfield, the uncanny ability to run away from guys, even though he's probably not a 4'6" guy. I'm not sure how someone who doesn't measure with all those things are able to continue to do things like this. I mean, he's just an incredible football player. We're just in a position where our defense were able to lock down everyone else around him. It's kind of like going into a basketball game and say, okay, Michael Jordan's going to get 50, but we can't let anyone else get off, you know? And so that's kind of how our football team approached this game. Be physical, try and find ways to keep other people from beating you, but you just have to know that Patrick Mahomes is going to extend plays. Patrick Mahomes is going to find ways to get first downs to keep his team in the fight. It's just at this point, this football team has really struggled this year finding alternate players to be able to have the same kind of impact that Patrick Mahomes has. And right now, the Raiders defensively are just a much better football team than the Kansas City Chiefs has maybe ever seen since Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes have been together.
Let me tell you this. He's one of the all-time greats. He's on pace maybe to be one of the top 3 or 4 ever. Today, he was not happy with his teammates.
Right.
He was not happy.
That's right.
There's going to be more of that story coming up because I thought he was more upset than I could see him in a while, and that was a good thing.
Yeah, it was.
On Christmas. When we come back next, the voice of the Raiders will join us, Jason Horowitz from Arrowhead.
This segment of Raiders Game Day has been brought to you by America First Credit Union, the official credit union of the Las Vegas Raiders.
The voice of the Raiders joins us from Arrowhead, Jason Horowitz. Jason, you had a 63-point win and now a signature win at Arrowhead. How does it feel?
Well, I mean, think about where this team was when we left the stadium against the Vikings a couple weeks ago, and they lose 3-0. Right? Like the defense played so well for so long, and it kind of felt like at that moment like the season was over. Obviously it wasn't. And then you think about what has happened in the last 2 weeks with a 63-point franchise record, 8 different guys scored. And then you come here, and in 2 plays, I mean, you could feel the immediate transition in this stadium when Bilal Nichols had the touchdown on the fumble recovery, and then Jack Jones for the second time in as many weeks as a pick 6. I mean, it really was remarkable. But I think the remarkable part, guys, it wasn't just that happened. It was that happened, and then the Chiefs didn't score again to the fourth quarter. They kept it going, and I think that's the remarkable part.
Yeah, I really love your perspective. You've seen every play. I mean, it's your job to see every play, every snap. And kind of understand the vibe. When the Raiders are in the building, what is the vibe like that you see, the difference, from now until, week 3 or 4? What's the difference that you see?
I think there's a confidence, right? We've heard it. We've heard the tone that is very different with this team over the last 5-6 weeks. And I think there's a sense of freedom. Like these guys know that they are allowed to, I think, be themselves a little bit more. I think they're given a little bit more of a swagger. You're seeing it on the field. But you know what the other part of this all, EA, you played for this team when it was, on its way to the Super Bowl and all that stuff. The fact that this team is the least penalized team in the NFL, we were not a highly penalized team before Josh McDaniel was fired. But to be the the least penalized team in the NFL and still have that swagger and still have that confidence. You're starting to see that. But I think what's happening, too, is you're seeing the transition for the other guys, right? We know Max Crosby. Max Crosby's having an NFL Defensive Player of the Year season. He had another big impact today. But Malcolm Kuntz sacked Patrick Mahomes 3 times. Nobody in the history of the Chiefs in this building has sacked Patrick Mahomes 3 times. And it was Malcolm Kuntz who did it, and we hadn't even gotten to the fourth quarter yet. Jack Jones, who the Patriots said, we can't have him. He's not for the Patriots, right? Whatever he's doing off the field, not for us. Comes to the Raiders. Guys, he's under contract for 2 more years after this one, and he's becoming a shutdown corner and a playmaker and all that stuff. You started to see a little bit of the fatigue settle in the fourth quarter. There were some arm tackles. I'm sure they'll work on that. But, man, oh, man, are they playing with some confidence. And, we're going to go to Indianapolis New Year's Eve, and you'd like to think that that's going to carry over.
Jason, you always look at the math in this game, and when the Raiders are up 20-7, you're saying, if Kansas City scores twice and they get extra points, we've seen that movie before, especially in Arrowhead. But Zamir White, to close out this game, this was an important moment in Raiders running back history. Desperate to get a win there. Walk me through the last few moments of that game when the Raiders took over the game, took the crowd out of the game, and it was over.
Yeah, he salted away the win, right? I mean, a 44-yard run, and then you can't take a knee unless you get that other first down, which, you're all excited about that 44-yard run because you know what that means, because on top of everything else, it puts you in field goal range where even if you don't get that next first down and can't run out the clock, you can end the game with a field goal and go up 23-14. But to then take the next play, and, I didn't see it on the All-22 or really even the replay, but it looked from our vantage point like it was the exact same play. And for that to go 15 yards and to end the game with, that was really impressive. And, guys, last week, no Josh Jacobs for the first time since 2021. To follow that up this week, we didn't know that until today. And for them to be able to continue to run the football, think about this, guys. The Raiders did not complete a pass after the first quarter. We've seen Aiden O'Connell have unbelievable starts all year long, and he did it again today. He was 9-11, 16, 2 yards. They had the long 7-yard drive, and they kick a field goal. And he might have completed 1 pass after that. And for them to win this game and salt it away, Zamir White ran for 145. Amir Abdullah had a couple of big runs on third down conversions. The offensive line, again, without Colton Miller, had some adjustments. It was impressive. And to do it here against a really good Chiefs defense says a whole lot. And I think here's the other thing, JT and EA. If you were to tell Chiefs fans at any point in the last 5 years, hey, you've got Patrick Mahomes, the defense is giving up 17 a game, you are going to give up 6 points as a defense with Patrick Mahomes and lose. There's not a single person in the state that would have believed that. And that's what happened today.
Yeah. Just speaking and talking about Mahomes, he doesn't have the cast around him, but there was time and time again, he was extending plays, getting out of sacks. Was it all the way to the end where there's zeros on the clock that you feel like he, wasn't going to bring his team back?
So you get the 242, right? They score with 242, and you're looking at the clock, all right, 2 timeouts. The Raiders have been struggling to pass the football. You're thinking to yourself, okay, what happens now? The fact that the Raiders did not give him the football back. And there were a few plays like that today. So get the ball to start the third quarter, and it wasn't a long drive. It wasn't even a good drive, but they got 1 first down. And I think that was important. You start to at least get a little bit of rhythm. And all of that throughout the course of the day. Because, you've got Patrick Mahomes. And as well as your defense has played, the reality was the defense was on the field all day. And the Chiefs today had 3 separate drives of 13 plays, 14 plays, and 14 plays. And on those 3 drives, they had 0 points. Think about that, too. So that speaks volumes of just how well the defense has played, is playing, you hope continues to play. But, it's still Patrick Mahomes, right? You're still talking about a 2-time Super Bowl champion and an MVP and all those things in this building. And we know what this building has meant to the Raiders in the negative way. So, you can't give them the ball back, and they didn't.
Jason, finally, teams in the AFC West, they despise losing to the Raiders. The Raiders have fired coaches even when they're not a playoff team. Give us a sense of Arrowhead. When the helmets were flying, Chiefs are pointing at each other. Taylor Swift loses her first Christmas game to the Raiders. I love that. Just the energy. And I'm sure there was a pocket of Raider Nation there. You were able to see some silver and black in that crowd.
Yeah. You know, a couple of parts to all that. Number one, I was surprised, and I know it's Christmas Day, it's a holiday. Not everybody wants to go to an NFL game, and it's cold. Not everybody wants to go to an NFL game on a holiday. And so there were a lot of empty seats. You know, in the second and third deck here at Arrowhead, there were a lot of empty seats, and certainly after halftime, too. So I was surprised by that. And, you know, it wasn't nearly as loud. You know, you think about where we were last year, Monday Night Football, my first chance to be here, and the Raiders had that 17-0 lead, but because the Chiefs had gotten a little bit of momentum before halftime and then got a Travis Kelce touchdown to start the third quarter, you really kind of got the sense of what Arrowhead is. That wasn't the case today. It didn't really feel like last year at all. And I think, you know, this is – look, fan bases, when they've been as good as the Chiefs have been over the last 7 years, you get spoiled, right? And, like, there were boos. They were booing Patrick Mahomes. Who boos Patrick Mahomes? But it was the end of the third quarter, and they were booing Patrick Mahomes. I mean, Raider Nation should be ecstatic about that. And that's all because of the Raiders' defense today. It really is.
Thanks for the time, my friend. Safe travels. Thanks so much for joining us.
See you guys next week.
It's been a good 12 days for him. The voice of the Raiders. 2 big signature wins. When we come back, we'll go to the podium. The winning quarterback, Aiden O'Connell, beating a legend in his own building. We'll get to his comments coming up next on Raiders Game Day.
Raiders Game Day has been brought to you by Twitch. Watch, discover, join in. Credit One Bank, the official credit card of the Las Vegas Raiders. Modelo, a reward for those with a fighting spirit. The mark of a fighter, drink responsibly.
Yeah, Zamir, you know, he obviously in the spring, he got a lot of reps in our offense. He got, you know, carried the load in OTAs and stuff, and then, you know, has been kind of behind the scenes for the most part this year, but super tough kid, you know, loves football. Is always going hard at practice, is trying to learn. And so I think a lot of the guys were excited to see Zamir and what he could do. And to see him perform on the stage like this and to do what he did is awesome. I don't think any of us are surprised, but yeah, it was fun to watch.
Your coach challenged you guys to be the most physical team on this field today throughout the week. Was that a message you feel like resonated, and did you see that being expressed on the field?
I think AP did an awesome job all week of preparing us. You know, he showed his intensity pretty early on in the week about you know, how much he wanted this game and how much he wanted to win and what it would take. And I think, you know, it was awesome to see it all come together. I think, you know, it was good a few days of practice this week, and then to have it come together like it did, it was, you know, a testament again to AP, to the entire coaching staff, administration, everybody that you know, worked super hard to get us here.
Can you build off of something?
We're happy
like
for
this?
Aiden O'Connell. 4 touchdowns the game before and a win at Arrowhead on Christmas. It's a big deal for that young man.
It really is, and things will get better for him. You can remember that this Chiefs team is a really good defensive football team.
All right, let's take a look at the AFC playoff picture. Raiders are going to need some help.
Playoffs?
Yeah, they're back in the conversation. When I look at the wild card, I think Cleveland's safe at 10-5. Buffalo, I think, is going to get there. It comes down to the Colts. Yep. The Raiders play the Colts. When it looks at Cincinnati and Pittsburgh, they play each other. We're going to need Houston to lose, and the Raiders are going to have to win out. We knew going into this, you and I talked about it. Yeah. For the Raiders to be in the playoff hunt, they had to run the table. You should be able to run the table after beating Kansas City and Arrowhead.
You got to be confident. Got to be confident going into these last 2 football games. You're dealing with a team that's, you know, has a Minshew as a quarterback, and then Denver's up and down. You got to have some confidence going into the next 2 games. And we just got to take care of ourselves. Just win, and then whatever happens, happens, but take care of our business.
Celebrate, enjoy Christmas, enjoy the win. But then you got to get ready for Indy.
Yes.
You got to be ready for Indy because Indy's playing for their lives, too.
Yeah.
It's an elimination playoff game.
There's no doubt that this team will be prepared and be ready to play some football. I know that the way they've gone about their business the last couple of weeks.
I'm excited. A great way to
Merry Christmas.
Christmas with the EA. Merry Christmas to everyone. For everyone at Silver and Black Productions, have a great holiday season. And what a Raiders win on Christmas.